guys, welcome again to Biobarica Talks. This is our episode number 7. Now we have a special guest here in our new episode. This is Dr. Andreas Grossgold. Thank you so much, Dr. Grossgold, for being here. Dr. Grossgold is the owner and founder of Grossgold Clinic. It's a center located in Florida. This center basically treats anti-aging related therapies and pathologies and some chronic conditions. We're going to speak about this later. How are you, doctor?
I'm doing very good. Thank you.
Good. So, doctor, can you please a little bit tell us about your training, your medical training, and how Dr. Grossgold or Grossgold Clinic come about?
All right. So I was trained as a surgeon and a medical doctor in a military school. And then I did a PhD in molecular biology. And then after that, I did a postdoctoral fellow in cell and gene therapy. And during that time, my dad got sick with cancer. So he had to go through different modalities. So he got into the integrative medicine. He just introduced me to that, and just working with my father, I started seeing a different view of medicine, and I decided to take another course, which was a PhD actually in integrative medicine. So I graduated from Capital University of Integrative Medicine in Washington, D.C. And when I finished that, I started doing my residency. And since I was a military doctor, I've been involved with military for a while. I'm a Navy doctor. I decided to do a dual residency in internal medicine and pediatrics. And my clinic was born after I completed all my studies and having some experience being a physician. And this clinic is a place for healing. This is a place for providing patients the ability to heal and also give their best potential for being younger, and to incorporate all these wellness therapies. Thank you.
Good. And so I see that you were pretty much related to not optional therapies like integrative medicine or regenerative medicine. So how do you feel the incorporation of hyperbaric oxygen therapy or hyperbaric chamber has a synergy with the therapies that you already offer there? I mean, the services that you already offer related to this kind of medicine that you applies and practice.
So oxygen therapy has been one of the modalities of therapies that I always have been incorporating in my office. So I've been using ozone, I've been using hydrogen peroxide, and having a hyperbaric in the office has been incredible help, because I have patients that have chronic conditions that benefits from the treatments of these hyperbaric chambers. Nowadays, there's a lot of devices that patients can actually buy, but they don't achieve the atmospheres required to get the best results on healing. So when I first start looking into options to get a hyperbaric, I did a very thorough research on the studies and looking for what will be the most cost-effective therapies that will give you the patient the most amount of benefit. And this is when I choose to get the hyperbaric chamber that I have in my office,
which is a Biobarica one, a Revitaler.
Hyperbaric, yeah.
Good. So just talking a little bit more about the protocols that you apply to your patient, I see that your approach is always related to integrative medicine and a holistic focus, right? What are the most common protocols you have in terms of integrative medicine plus the hyperbaric chamber?
So there is a lot of protocols that I implemented myself. I have also studied different protocols that has been already successfully applied for patients. Usually, most of these data come from studies in Europe, and we start doing more in America. But the protocols that I utilize for my patients are mainly for patients that have any chronic conditions. So I have a lot of patients with Lyme disease, with mold detox, and that requires mold detox because they're being exposed to mold, and that they benefit from getting these type of therapies. I also use protocols for wound healing and for post-op procedures, which has been also very, very helpful. So it's a combination of protocols that has been in place and protocols that I actually made myself.
Okay, got it. Now getting more into the specific patients, if I can ask you, do you have any patient that caught your attention in terms of the results that you got, or the length of the treatment, or how you got, I mean, the improvement that you see regularly comparing with using the hyperbaric chamber? Do you find specific result that got your attention?
Yeah, I do have incredible results with my patients. I have one particular patient. He is a 4-year-old kid that had some brain damage when he was in utero, and he has some developmental delay. He has some developmental on his speech, on his walking, motricity, movement, and cognitive. And this kid used to go in the hyperbaric with the grandmother, and we noticed improvements quickly. I mean, even the therapist that was doing all the treatments for the kid noticed that he was improving faster, and even the grandmother, who did not have any specific health issue, she also reports that while she was in the hyperbaric with him, it was getting some good results. But probably, that's one of significant improvements. And I like when I work with kids, because the kids, they don't tell much how they feel, but you can see it. You can see in how they behave. And I noticed a significant behavior from his walking and the way he was coordinating his movements. But I have many, many, many more. I could spend hours talking about results
Well,
on my.
thankfully you have many. I agree with you, and regarding the kids, it's important because maybe if they don't explain by themselves, you can check the change in the environment. I mean, family, school. So it's really good when you find this results in kids. So my last question, doctor, it's a common question that we're asking to all our guests in Biobarica Talks. If you had to define hyperbaric oxygen therapy in one word, what would it be?
Healing.
Good. Why healing? Just explain me a little bit. Why healing?
Why healing? Because oxygen is an amazing healer. I mean, when you expose patients to oxygen and they're depleted on all these oxygen metabolic pathways for whatever is either detoxification or a stimulation of certain organs, you can see the difference. Oxygen is a great medication, and with the experience using the hyperbaric, the healing that I have seen on patients is great, especially for organs that are hard to get oxygen. I've seen like incredible results.
Well, doctor, thank you so much for your time. Personally, I'm super glad that you accepted the invitations. We are basically delighted with your results, with your evidence, your experience with hyperbaric. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and see you in another episode.
For sure. For you, thank you again for being with us. Remember to check all our episodes in our YouTube channel, and see you again in our next episode of Biobarica Talks. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.